All right, so this idea of battling the judges is just not well thought out. First, if you impeach a judge, which you have 50% of the House, you can do. That's bully pulpit, which whatever. Secondly, when you get it to the Senate, you don't have the votes. Thank you, Larry. I mean, you're just stirring up a hornet's nest. Correct. I mean, it works well when you run for an office, like, to hype up people. When you're in office, a lot of people realize that all the Republicans did the same thing as the Democrats. Right. So it's just fluff. It's just, well, what are they doing? So you just have to. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I imagine you have talking point things. Well, think your talking points out better. I mean, say you believe it's wrong, and you're going to wait for the judicial process to play out, but it's hindering your operations. Explain to everyone that you have budgetary negotiations coming up, and you want to be able to realize what that budget requirement is. I mean, I think that's why. Hopefully, that's why you're all hyped up over it, wanting it to happen yesterday. Is there a heater in this chair? That's massage. I don't know if it has heat. I guess I can get a heating pad. Oh my God. No, when you get this sick, you can't even just get in your van and go, or get in your vehicle and go to the store. Ugh. I really do appreciate the senator's office contacting me so speedily. I just, I just get discouraged because nothing's been nothing for so many years. I mean, decades. My sinuses were starting to flare up and congestion, and it was 36% humidity, so that sometimes does that. Get it more humid, and then the sinuses settle down. Oh my God, it's cold in here. If I had one more, it wouldn't be so cold. I hate to do that, but I have no idea what my bill's going to be then. I mean, those people were knocking on my wall and were psyoping me while they were putting those socks in the laundry. And who knows what was on it? You're the criminal, all of you, not me. Took care of all the communities I lived in, healed them, did charity where I could. I mean, there'd been a ton more charity if they just would have stopped. Well, if we can stop whatever it is in this upper left lat, again, it's loose. It's just not completely loose. So maybe the corticosteroid will help it loosen a little more. But I don't know if that's going to cause trouble. No, there's a lot of irritation in that left. I don't know what that is. Rhomboid, I guess, or lat, or not rat, rhomboid. Yes, it is. It's not like when I'm saying loose. I mean, it's still like stiff muscle, but it's just I have flex. Like I'm just, it's not like rigid in my torso and all that. Now the upper part is still kind of, and I don't think that was loose when I had all that pain. See, now it's starting to tighten a little bit. Yeah, it's starting. So what I did was I pressed on that spot. Now I'm not pressing on my spine. I'm pressing. Yeah, I have to look on my back to see where it is. Back muscle diagram. I guess that could be part of the trapezius. Well, it goes down into the back. Right. I guess. I don't know. Right. I guess it's part of the trapeze. My trapezius are very tight. So I'm not actually pushing on the spine. I'm pushing on the trapezius. And then that's on that spot to try to loosen it, and then it'll tighten up sometimes. See, I pushed on the left trapezius, and now my neck is tighter. So I'm afraid to lay down because I don't want to trigger that. I mean, I don't know if a steroid in that will work or not. And then if the steroid relaxes it, does it have pain? So I guess part of this is a big part is the trapezius. And maybe the rhomboid. So like my right side's still kind of relaxed. Oh, feels good to massage it. But like I don't have anybody to tell me what's going on in my body. I don't know what kind of doctor to go to that can tell me these things. They blinded my health care. I mean, like I said, all they had to do was stop, and my life would have normalized. I healed so many times, physically and psychologically, and they just kept coming back doing it. I didn't see anything. Yeah, you attacked me, but that didn't mean anything to me. I just thought you were a bunch of jerks. And I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't survive in that environment. I had to retire. I worked too hard in government just to walk off. In the military, I'm a combat veteran also. Sure hope to center and get my VA money. See, I'm trying to focus on helping you all, and I can't. Maybe they know that, so that's why they do it. I can't find any of those dongles. Nothing's delivering today. I'm going to have to get another heater in here, and it costs money to run it and to buy it. Well, it's going to be like 0 degrees coming up. Then, of course, I only have it use it for 2 weeks. Something's calling the mind, telling me what to do. Could be the good Lord. Radiator heater. No, I'm going to have to do something. It's just too cold. And I can't turn that overhead on. Nothing in the near future. Guess it's going to be snow, so they're not going to. That was 4 a.m. Oh, achy from head to toe. For all we know, this is what they were trying to trigger. Right. Could be a pain syndrome from anxiety that they're causing. I mean, they force me to live under stress every day. There's no alternative. They lie, like I told you. Shut up, you speak, same thing. Should have looked earlier. Something today. These are all small. Usually the air blowing ones are just as bad. Right. All right, let's look at Walmart. Radiator heater. Store. Now just relaxed. Hopefully the corticosteroid does something. I just don't want. I have prednisone here. It's like it's a temptation from the devil. I mean, this is how they do it. It will mess up my stomach even further. And again, the stomach could be something else, but don't want to risk it. There's only one. All right, let me go look at these other people. I can where my lower lumbar sciatic is. I can feel the compression spot. So this spot over here on the outside of the trapezius is not spinal, right? That's like a spine bone compressing a nerve. I mean, it could be something else, but call the delivery people here. I don't know. I wasn't cold like this. Now I am. Oh, my ankle is like so sore. Then I got all these doctor's appointments that I got to make just to get some treatment. Thank you, friend. see what we got here. Oh, that's right. Haven't even ordered the other things. Well, what I'm trying to do is get it up out here to, well, it's up to 68 now. It does feel a little better. I'm just afraid when those cold days come. Let me see the weather here. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I got to get it. I hate to spend. See, the problem with not having enough money. I'm worried about spending the money. Again, I know people are poorer than me and people are sicker than me, but I know I'm not supposed to be in this position in life. Wasn't something I earned, quote unquote, or something that I put myself into. No, it's going to be like it's got 37, 18, 19. Watch the up at the highs. The lows are 31, 14, 11, 3, 7, 8, or -8. What the hell? Said it was going to be warm. I think they're controlling the weather with the space lasers. Probably Satan's stance. Right. Whoa. Yeah, we're not back to normal weathers for a week and a half or so. But it'll go up to 52 all of a sudden. And then, right. Then I won't need it. See, see what that is? That in itself is torture. Do you buy it or you don't buy it? Do you spend $80 for it now and only get a few days out of it? A few months out of it? If I knew I could find a needy person that needed it, I won't care. I'll be like, yeah, I'll buy it, I'll use it, and then I'll give it to the needy person. Well, because when I leave here, I'm not going to leave with that much. I'm just too cold right now. Oh, gosh. My feet hurt. I mean, they weren't supposed to be around me like this. I'll sit here by the heater. And it's weird because it says it's 71 degrees in here, but it don't feel like no 71 degrees. Right. I think that one's a degree. It doesn't even feel like 70. I have to cancel one of the massage memberships because I was going to get it all done quick, and hopefully be healed, but it all fell apart. Right. But I did need to get the massage to get this unblocked to see it. And then those MRIs, I freak out in those MRIs. I mean, once upon a time it was no problem, but I'm sick now. And going into, they stress me out and all that. And going on the MRI scare me. Right. I don't know if there's some pill I can take just for a day or two that can relax me when I go in there because I don't know if I can deal with it. Creating anxiety every day of my life for like 30 years, laughing about it. I didn't know that, you get sick from what they were doing to me. Like I said, there were some nice people in my past, and Rick Guzman and Rich Schneider, they were jerks to me at times, but when it came down to it, they weren't deep state. I guess that's the best way to explain to it. And Rick Schneider said something to me. I mean, he went on a limb. I mean, Rick Guzman, he went out on a limb. He's a real American. If you want to find a deputy U.S. Marshal to make something like a marshal or whatever you want, even if he wants to work immigration, right? ICE, Rick Guzman. If he puts an application in, you take it and you put him up to the top. You don't play deep state games. Now, he might have an opinion, but his output's worth that opinion. Because again, one thing about the deep state and all that stuff, whether it's Republican or Democrat, it can come back and get you in a second. So don't think that That's why what Trump's doing and what I'm getting a little leery of what Trump and whatchamajigger are doing. And Elon, because when you teach people certain things like retaliation, live by retaliation, die by retaliation, and it could be your own people. They just see it, hey, now I'm the king, right? Yeah, I got them up on max, and something hit my head, said you have them turned up all the way. Because the other day I couldn't even think to turn them up. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm freezing, but it's going to get cold as hell. And I can't turn that overhead on. That's so sad. I bought new filters and everything. See, when I get in this mode, they've cursed me enough, and they know when it's on. Nothing's right. Nothing works. Even if the vents were clean, it would be the wrong thing to turn that thing on, right? Because that blowing air can cause the sinuses to. Right, even the air purifiers, I turn them off every so often. Well, I didn't have sinus issue like this before this place. So I get here and somebody says, didn't you know it's one of the worst places in the country? So like the side of my face now is, I'm still easy ear to ear. So that's congestion that's doing that. Right. Now the right sinus and the right ear canal gets hit. So I'm thinking that the station tubes and all that, like when you have stiff tissue that sometimes gets inflamed and won't drain. But it is thicker than I've ever seen it. So let me get to my medicine here to take it. I mean, they're not supposed to do this to disabled people, even if there is a case. Right. Well, you're not going to investigate it because a disabled person's not going to react the same. Right. In fact, they're going to give you a false positive. I can't believe that you all don't know that. Well, the inference is coming into my mind, and I don't know where it's coming from. It's just like, a psychic reception. It's saying you probably want to get the first person you want to get in here is somebody to clean it. Then once you have it cleaned and organized, then you can bring somebody in and say, hey, do you want this? Do you want that? No, I just remember I had the COVID, the sinus infection, all this pain. I couldn't get to nothing. And I was already slipping before it happened. Right. I couldn't quite get the place clean as I usually could. But once I get it cleaned up and I get the majority of this stuff, moved out, I'll be fine. That's why I was living in extended stays, I guess. I just, they start doing stuff to you and you just want to go someplace and have a normal life. You want to have some neighbors. You want to have friends. But of course, they come in and they do what they do and pay people and everything else. I'm trying to use that Mucinex. I imagine in a week or two that, or a few weeks. I mean, I have allergies, but usually when it warms up, I think my sinuses relax because I don't remember, it happening in the spring as much. Oh my God, one thing after another. I mean, if they didn't do this to me, I'd have been somewhere, probably Santa Fe, where I don't have sinus issues. Right. I mean, I stayed there as long as I could, and I'm like, I got to get some massages, and I don't feel comfortable here. Yeah, I got to get that thing delivered. I can't play around. But see, this is what happens when you don't have money. You're just like, well, should I or shouldn't I? No, I think one more. I knew one more radiator heater would do it, but who feels like paying that in electric bill? Right. I don't know. I felt much better like 6 months ago or something. I'm just really sick, but I've been harassed all the way through this thing, just simply trying to go purchase a wood to build an ark. I mean, who would have think that in Kansas that they would harass you like that? It's saying this one has additional heating surface. I guess that's the thing to do. Keep taking my head ear to ear to gauge what's going on, right? Or shoulder to shoulder. I can pretty much touch my ear to my shoulder, but I can't do that when it's all tight. They exist. So what they do is when the one, well, I mean, it could be a detective doing it to me, so they could be law enforcement. But I tend to believe that there's some outside operators, and what they do is they call the police in to be around their victim when the operators operate, and other times there won't be any police officers around their victim. I mean, who gets to do this so many decades worth? It boggles the mind. I mean, I hate to tell you all, and it sounds crazy, but it's not. It's reality. This is what's wrong with the country. This is what that extra fraud, waste, and abuse money funds. And I think there's straight up embezzlement. So even though you find that it's a legitimate payment, is it really? Or is it just embezzlement? Or I don't understand. I guess embezzlement you'd be able to detect. The other one would be the I don't even know what kind of, I guess, quid quo pro kind of deal, something. But I should already been to a surgeon, right, and probably had the surgery. I mean, I don't know if that's the only surgery I need. You know what I mean? Right, but I should have been to the surgeon in Philadelphia. I was pretty confident with him at Jefferson Hospital. I mean, that's great credentials for back surgery and University of Pennsylvania. Actually, the guy they assigned me for back surgery was a newer doctor than the one that the woman was trying to get me at Jefferson. But I read the complaint, but I don't think it was real. I think the person needed additional treatment because there's no way. I mean, I might be wrong, but I don't think there's any way to do what that because they have an advanced robotics program at Jefferson, and I'd be surprised if that mistake could be made on that machine. Because the machine is, if I'm not mistaken, the machine is what calculates it, right? The robotic thing. Because what he said is it was crooked, but I don't think the doctor did it crooked. I just think he needs additional treatment. Like his back he's experiencing something, but I don't think the the fusion location is fusion. See how weird the world is? The fused location, I don't believe it's crooked. I think like he needs massages or he's got another disc that's bad or something like that. Right. Because he said, I think it's the sensation he has. That's the hard part with all this because you get a lot of sensations. But yeah, the sad part is I caught this disability and was treating it with massage. And then they come in like I'm a dangerous person. And that's what they said. Well, you're too dangerous. I never asked the guy what he was talking about. I just was in shock because I knew it was a deep state hit. So when he called, I was in absolute shock. It may have been because I was a Republican. I don't know. But again, the deep state's the one that effectuates those hits. They're trying to block me from the heater. I can feel it. What it's telling me to do, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, is just to order a bunch of cardboard boxes and just throw everything in the cardboard boxes and put it off to the side. Then when the person comes in, you bring in your cleanup person. It'll be a lot easier to clean and won't look as bad. I mean, I know they willed it to be exactly like this. They're laughing. They're getting paid bonuses. Like I said, I wish I could just talk about the work we're going to do, but again, if you'd have protected me yesterday, it'd have been a lot easier for me to do that today. I didn't want to sound like a wacko to the or right to the judge's caseworker, but I felt like I had to tell that to her to help her understand who I am and what's been going on. And I told her, look, I don't have any proof that there were solid proof, and I just said, this is the way the deep. And I know, you see, if I would have went to the other, it was a catch-22. If I went to Senator Marshall, he's so conservative, he might be, well, suck it up, you don't deserve anything. But if I went deep state, they'd be like, he's a deep state victim. Get him in here, depose him. Well, there were congressional hearings around what was going on when I left government. Not necessarily about me, but maybe not about me. And even though my name didn't come up, they may have had the hearings because John was killed, that I went out on disability, and somebody else may have went out on disability. And people do make phone calls, right? But I didn't even know what was going on. I wasn't even involved, and the people involved had pretty good lives. Right? And again, it's this tightening that occurs that does it. It isn't just going to the gym, because people go to the gym all the time, right? And all I had to do was stay in massage, and I'd have been much better. I think I could have maybe needed some surgery still at some point, but not like I got now. It's kind of expensive, but wish there was some way to know if I was going to get my disability. It would just lessen the anxiety. Now, this one is digital, but because I'm thinking I'm just using it as a second one out here. I don't think I need like the top model. Right. I'm getting a little tight on the right side. Oh. See, it just released now. Maybe I may have to get back into some more activity or something. Right. I mean, I still probably need the spine fused, but maybe the corticosteroid and some. I was trying to get to physical therapy when COVID hit, right, and then I couldn't. I was trying to get back a massage. But when I moved to Oklahoma, I was still well enough. I can't believe they did that to me there. Well, I was running off the. I was running off the. Like it was snow coming, and I had like a couple hours before the snow began, and I had my big moving truck, and I took everything off that moving truck myself, and I ran up and down that ramp with like the smaller boxes and stuff. It was nothing to me. Now I wasn't totally healthy because I saw there were signs that I was my health was slipping, right? Physical health. It's pretty much why I left. But boy, I was so healthy that day when I moved. And then they started hitting me in Oklahoma, and I was like, "What?" I thought these were not, because I met the people that I rented from, and they were just good old people. You know what I mean? I talked about Trump. I talked about the church. I felt in my element. I think they started working for them. Who knows what they told them I was some sort of monster. Right. Well, they knew that those people and I were good and we were friendly, and they destroyed it. Yeah, this is already down to 70 degrees in here, which means it's 69. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to keep the temperature up. I probably, with what I got going on, need to keep it 70 degrees across the board. Wait. And I don't want to turn on the overhead. I'll have to side this here soon. I definitely need to get one. I suffered for so long without it. Kind of buy it and have to give it away at some point. When I left Amarillo, though, I was so sick. I was even worse than I am now. To go back to Tyler, I yelled at my brother so hard because he just didn't understand. Like, I repented of it, and I finally told him I'm sorry that I did that. Then I got back to Tyler, and same thing over again. Everybody making money. The thing is, I can't take anything that's going to hit my stomach. And my brother's like, "Well, take a Tylenol because it's easier on the stomach." But I said, I want an anti-inflammatory, and I want to monitor it, and it'd be harder with like my left, like where the sciatic nerve is now. Like I can tell, I can feel like where that nerve would trigger, where I would feel it. So that means that you need a spine fused. I just wish 4 years ago they were reined in. I have no idea why your communities allow this kind of thing, unless everybody's corrupt. Because the doctor was telling me the surgeon. He's like, I said, well, how long after you do surgery does that leg pick up and all that? And he said, take right away. As soon as I do it, as soon as I get that weight off that nerve, your leg will fire back up. And I was like into it. Then I go to my rehabilitation doctor who was going to give me a steroid shot, and there's a guy sitting there. Actually, it was the week before, the first time I went, before I got the shot. And I went. Actually, it was way before probably because I had to go get MRIs, 3 MRIs. And the doctor was like, it's like horrible because he's like encouraged and then he's discouraged when he looks at the MRI. But there was a guy sitting there that couldn't walk because of back surgery. I mean, what are the chances of that happening? Couldn't walk at all. He's in a wheelchair with a urine bag. And I knew from the first time, not from the first time, again, I prayed for him and that was that. And then when it was all said and done, I'm wondering, I don't even know if that was real. Because Deep State's that rotten. They'd already role played around me a few times in Amarillo. It seemed like they had a lot of access to role play. And I guess they would call it ruse, but I call it role play because it ain't really law enforcement. I don't know. To this day, I don't know if that was a Hollywood setup or whether it was real. Well, because he goes in the doctor don't have to examine him. He could just go in for an initial consultation. Correct. Well, it was weird because he was there by himself. I guess I would be there by myself too. But that plays on your head, and then all of a sudden, it seemed like things got better, but only better to the point because I didn't want to end up in that wheelchair. Right. So you see, the whole thing. They curse you, and you're like, nothing's working for me here. Everything's like a screw. No, I don't believe it's the Trump administration. No matter how, they're saying bygones be bygones. No matter how we hated each other for a period of time. they owe me. All the Republicans owe me. Thank you, Larry. No, is this a coupon? Just $20 off one store prices. Is that price? Let's see what we got going on here. They're trying to fear me. Thank you, Larry. I don't believe that's $20 off on in-store prices. Well, we'll take a look at it. I mean, 4 years ago, if I could unlock like this, I could have saw it. And again, I'm trying to just live at an extended stay, and I'm being harassed. Oh, they get paid to harass me. I mean, Trump administration didn't protect me, but I don't know what they knew. Feels like it's tightening up again. Yeah, it's tightening up. Left side's tightening up a little bit. That's the same price. I thought it was a coupon or something. No, they did this to me over an extended period of time, and weren't interested in ever stopping. They just would have stopped. Feels like it's getting colder out here, but it still says 68. Oh. No one. All right, so let me go look at this item again. Okay, $10 off it. Yeah, but I don't see. Oh, go to the end. You know, you get vibrations when you're in an app or something. I'm one of the few people you can actually hear going through that. Yeah, it just don't make sense. Delivery free, service free. Yeah, because it's not showing me the $20 off, but I think it's there. Well, because I got if I do a real quick delivery, service fee $5.84, tax $8.53, priority fee $4, and then it's only $2 more than the price I was looking at. There's somewhere I'm getting $20 off. Oh wait, no, I don't know what I'm paying. Yes, sometimes you check out from these apps, it's a little bit confusing as to what you're actually paying. No, so it's right. It is a little bit more money. Maybe I guess I could try to eat something. But I guess if it's 32 degrees outside, and I got both of these going full bore, and this one's 70 degrees in here in the smaller bedroom, and in the open area, it's 68. All right. I guess when it goes down to zero or even, maybe even 10 degrees, I'm not going to be getting anywhere. I'm just nervous about which one to buy and which one not to buy. But see, something released, like when my neck was released before, my arm wouldn't track right. It would feel like I needed to replace my shoulder. So something just released. Again, nobody's supposed to be operating a disabled person psychologically. Again, you're not going to get the same response, but again, maybe that was the response you wanted. Oh my God, it's cold. No, I got back in my closet, and the walk-in closet is freezing. I just don't know what to do. If I should buy the bigger one or the smaller one. I think these are smaller ones, but I mean they're not. I bought them in Oklahoma City when the cold wave came in. I guess I should order these sooner. Maybe it'd be difficult to have them delivered. Mm. 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 And it's quite possible that this is what they were looking at. Like this is what they wanted me to be in pain again. And they didn't stop online when I said, "Hey, they're trying to put me in a pain syndrome." Well, however they do it on Amazon, they owe me money on Amazon. And somebody said, "Well, they do that to us, but you're not alone, and they're not really torturing you. They're really torturing me." That's how they dupe everyone. If they didn't torture me yesterday, I wouldn't be disabled today. I'd have walked through life like it was nothing. But I definitely have to do something with the heater because I don't believe that I'm going to be able. I believe. Well, maybe they curse me not to believe, which means then I have doubts. And actually, that happens. I fight it, but trying to doubt the existence of God. Or trying to make me doubt. Yeah, I don't feel like when it heats up. Like usually when it heats up, I end up getting a little sick sometimes because of the allergens. But I don't feel that much right now because it's not the overhead, I guess. No, I can't take that blowing air. I turned it on a bit, but I think my sinuses are better since I turned it back off. What I'm doing, I got the blip to eat. See, that's what's supposed to happen. Like we live, you don't realize it, but you're receiving, like some people do, I realize that, but you're receiving blips all day. And your life is actually routed. Now, when they start cursing you, your life starts unrouting. Well, okay. I'm getting blips from the administration. We'll have to speak on that in a minute. Well, let the judges be. Well, later, if you need to do it, then maybe you can do it. But I don't even think, because the administration goes into court, and Elon Musk is to start looking like the administration. The administration goes into court every day, just about. Last thing you want to do is fight with the judges. Everything. Well, the one judge, he turned down detention. We need to try to minimize that. Now, I'm not telling you that you have to change your policy objectives. What I'm saying is pick your battles. Well, I mean, you only have 2 sure Supreme Court justices. That's not enough. It's already been proven. Thank you. Well, I'm sure Roberts is looking at you with one eye, squinting like, what? Well, because you do the same thing as the liberals. You bring something and the court says restraining order. Well, they are liberals, but that's the process. You do the same thing. Your attorney generals did the same thing to Biden. Well, what I'm afraid of is buying the cheaper one. When it goes down to like 10 degrees, then it don't. Like I said, if I knew for sure that I was going to get my disability up and the arrears, I wouldn't worry about it one bit. Because I have money to pay this place off and get out of here and pay people to come in and help me move out, and that's it. And then I'd probably head back east near my brother, and I could afford to live with him. Again, if I'd have got my disability last time when they were supposed to pay me, I could have moved back east and been with my brother real easy, because I was looking at the apartments, because first he's like, you can live with me. And I swear it's the argument we had. But again, the deep state will magnify that, because they're stalking me, watching me, and then when they see that on the wiretap, no, I know for sure in several places they tried to get me to hook up with somebody, but it'd just be for sex, right? And then I'm sure they'd film it. Trans women, men, boys. I think that some of those boys they'd have had me had sex with, young girls, just so they could film it and then arrest me. Right? They're weird, man. I don't trust that system. I believe it's covered up when a girl or boy gets raped or killed, or killed, I guess. It's saying I get these credits, but I don't see them when I hit the checkout. $10 off cold weather prep, but then I don't see it. $20 off in-store prices. I guess I could call them and ask them where it is. Spend the dollar. What is this? What? Spend. I don't get this. You got 89 off this order. I don't get this, what they're talking about. Oh, I see what it's saying. Well, this is what happens when I get in this mode. I end up having to spend additional money because I can't go get my stuff. On a normal day, I'd just be zipping out to my truck or my van and heading off to Lowe's or Home Depot to get a heater or Walmart. I'm just sick as all get out. I can barely take the temperature in here. I appreciate that I can go ear to ear and my neck isn't. And into my face, I get so upset. My face has this shit on it from the cranial tissues pulling. I should have been seeing a doctor. I mean, you can't do this type of thing to disabled people. I don't even, but the problem is, I was not a disabled person when you started. So again, this is all the way around. Agree, Larry. I mean, I could have just had this wonderful life, have a wonderful wife, could have been in my kids' life, whether I was divorced or not, help my ex-wife through the things that she goes through from an outside perspective. You know what I mean? It's just too difficult to be in there and try to help her and be beaten. And yeah, I repent of some of the things I said in anger in our marriage. But again, I was abused by my wife. Okay, and she would pull knives and all sorts of stuff, and I had to block those knives. And it's just the God Almighty that made sure that she didn't kill me. It was like weird. It was just bizarre. Thinking back, overhead knife strike, and then you do the. It was like hand to hand combat. Well, the good Lord was there because there's no way that would have. Oh yeah, I could have thrown her in prison. I'd have the heart to throw her in prison or throw her in jail. Didn't have the heart. And I said some harsh words over the years, and I'm just sad. There's even once when we went up to she needed surgery, but again, they played us, She went up for surgery. It was the wrong surgery. I think she probably had this going on, to tell you the truth. That maybe the accident caused her her lumbar or something. She maybe even needed some massage. I didn't know anything back then. Right. Yeah, I didn't think to get her massage. That may have taken care of it. It could have just been like, she was just overly tight. Right. She didn't get steroid treatments or nothing. Right. So they never should have probably did the surgery. Correct. And I went up to Boston, and I just, she had just gotten the surgery. It was beautiful up there. Everything worked great. But we drove home in our car, and I forget she couldn't walk, and she was in pain, and I got mad. And I'll tell you, that is the saddest part of my life. that I ever yelled at her at that moment. So again, that's I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but under the stress that I was under, I'm perfect. I'm more than a conqueror, and I'm forgiving. I don't know if I loved my wife or I just felt sorry for her. I don't know. I mean, at a certain point, that's all it was. I felt bad for her. I had 2 kids, and I was going to take care of them. She just was always, she had a lot going on. I rescued her. I think my mother was part of that. I don't know how much we paid. So like you're doing what I did, like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever it is. Right. It's got people go overseas and rescue the people that are in bondage. Oh. I think it was like 2,500 or 3,000, but back then, 1980s dollars, that's a lot of money. Called up my mom, and I was just tore up. Thank you, Larry. But she would always hit me, and it just got to the point, I just couldn't take it. And of course, in the divorce, she started calling the cops. You know what? When I massage my quadricep, I feel better in that region. Who knows? Maybe I can lessen that. I just want to make sure it's not tightening up. No, I was always a bleeding heart, but I was a conservative because I believed and I get choked up around a bit. I believe that if we lived in an honest world, and again maybe the only honest world is heaven, that people of color in a true capitalist system would succeed, and we wouldn't have the trouble that we're having. But again, there's curses. If people with money curse people of color, then they'll have trouble. Correct, sir. So I believe in capitalism, but asleep and not knowing, I believed everybody was getting where they were supposed to get and get what they're supposed to get. Well, because even religion is a system. If you want, in reality, and again, nothing against trans people or gay people. If you were to go into a church, even if Jesus is here, he says, even if you were witnessed to, and Paul's here in spirit, if you were witnessed to, when you love a preacher that does that, you know what? They probably see him up by me on the stage, right? If I was a preacher, they'd see him inside or however they see him. But if you even witness to a person with a true heart of God, and you didn't want them to be gay, they would go straight. So it's not them. So if you could heal that, then you wouldn't have to condemn it. Right? Well, it solidifies. If we have an opinion about it, and that it's all them, then that's what it becomes. If we project that opinion. No, I'm not perfect, but I just lessened that sciatic nerve thing by massaging my quadriceps. So my quads might be tight. I'm not going to tell you this woman's name because I don't want you to harass her, but I found one of the best massage therapists. I haven't gone back to see her. You have to wait a few days to see her. She's older. She's like, middle aged or a little bit older. And she'll kill you in there, but boy, your legs are free when you come out of there. She does your legs. Right. But again, I'm also being killed by the deep state while I'm with my wife. And she was a target first. She was seeing them. They may have been around me, but I didn't see them. Right. But I'm thinking my wife's going crazy. so when you wake up, you're like, hmm? Right. You all know they exist. Right. We all know people speak about them. That's real. Like we were trying, my wife was trying to sue this doctor, and that's part of it too. But all these people work together for evil. And she was trying to sue this doctor. And I think they showed up. Not they hadn't been in her life before. Right. Somebody said take these people out because they're suing this doctor. Either he paid or their system paid. Because he was a lawyer's doctor, is what we found out. Which means the lawyers were going to protect him, keep him clean. They just don't let anything happen. I mean, if you get to a life where you have a spouse in a church, especially somebody like me who spends, I was retired at that point, I could spend my whole life with the preacher, fixing up the church, doing other things. Right. I mean, you just have a different life than what I ended up with. It's still there, but it's not as bitey as it was. So, like, these are the things that people don't know when they go get these surgeries that they might need to get some massage and things. We have to wait about 6 months, and then it helps with it. I mean, I just had never been just so stopped at everything I was doing. Okay, I'm going to get offline, be back in a second.